All right, business owners, today the topic of our video is going to be how the AI-powered creative revolution is going to transform our asset creation for our PPC campaigns. I'm Sarah, your Google Ads coach and the guide at the Google Ads Strategy Hub. And today we are here to cut through the noise and we're going to focus on the why. That's going to be really important. And we're going to talk about the high-level strategy that you can use to empower your business to truly master Google Ads in this creative revolution that we're in. Today, I'm going to be sharing my strategic takeaways on creative and Google Ads and how this can impact your small business and how you are going to need to adapt your ad strategies in this AI first world. We are in an increasingly competitive digital landscape. That should be no surprise to anyone. As marketers, we're confronted with a major challenge, and that's meeting the growing demand for high quality video and image assets. These image and video assets are what we need to support any type of effective online marketing strategy today. And again, this should be no surprise. We are constantly bombarded and told that video and lifestyle imagery is really one of the key important parts in the buyer's journey, and the statistics along with our own consumption habits confirm it. So to address this, marketers must create assets that are not only visually engaging, but they also need to be assets that are captivating enough to hold the audience interest. That being said, all of this video and this imagery, it must inspire marketing actions. Most advertisers, they know that they should be prioritizing creative strategies to stand out from the crowd, but producing this constant stream of effective creative, especially videos, it is a huge drain on resources, time, and budget. And it often leads to creative fatigue and missed opportunities for brands and advertisers. And really, let's think about it. Who wants to miss out on boosting Father's Day sales, for example, and have to report that to the CMO or their owner and leadership? This challenge is precisely why Google has been addressing these bottlenecks. And during Google Marketing Live, one of the big things that they unveiled was this AI-driven video and image creation. These tools were developed in order to optimize and scale those visual asset productions for brands and address this increasing need for effective upper funnel marketing assets. Again, more image, more video. These tool updates, when you think about it, they're not merely incremental changes. They signify that shift and that transformation so that advertisers can approach the development of this creative assets and get alignment with the brand standards, and then also engage audiences with these dynamically complex visual environments and shots that are going to inspire action. But here's the thing, with any technology and tool, this brings up critical questions. First of all, what are the implications on brand control and representation? And really, not only that, but what do the other industry paid search experts besides myself, which I will share my opinion, have to say about this? And then lastly, what we want to talk about is, with these capabilities, how can we change our workflow? So today in this video, we're going to explore all of these questions, and we're going to talk about Google's new AI and image video creation suite. And we're going to examine experts and what they're saying and how this is shaping the future and potential. Because here's the thing, if we as PPC experts don't like the tool, we're just not going to use it, and you're going to hear all about it. The downfalls of this. We're going to blast that stuff on social media. So first of all, I talked about this again. Let's look at the workflow, right? So like for me personally, coming from agency life, scaling creative production was just super complex. Can these tools actually help? Is going to be the question. What do we do with all these assets? Where do we keep them? And for years, the reality of managing assets was painful and manual. We would send asset tracking sheets. We would email back and forth. We'd try to collect assets. And I can't count the number of times I went to go launch a Performance Max campaign, only realizing I was missing image sizes or videos. Often what this led is forced me to be pulling images off the website, looking on social media, right? Their organic social media for other assets, and kind of going on a treasure hunt, so to speak. And when it came to juggling Performance Max, Demand Gen, and YouTube all on the same account, really a reoccurring issue surfaced. And that was I was using identical image across all of the campaign types. And for me, as somebody who's pulling the levers, this made it really tough to discern which campaign was delivering which creative. And then you'd have clients emailing screenshots saying, where's this ad coming from? And you didn't know, was it Demand Gen or Performance Max serving that ad, since there is overlap in where those ads can run. run. So in an ideal world, each campaign type would want to have its own tailored creative, ensuring obviously clear performance attribution, and frankly, maximizing the marketing funnel, since demand gen and performance max are really hitting some similar aspects, but different aspects of the marketing funnel. And the cold hard truth is there simply are not enough assets to go around. And so we're forced to recycle. And this is a perpetual cycle. So when it comes to this is why Google did develop their new AI tools. And they again announced them at GML. And it's going to help with this workflow. So basically, Asset Studio, which will be coming soon to Google Ads, and then that image to video transformation where they're outpainting the rest of the size of the video, they're going to empower us to generate more assets quickly and efficiently and improve this workflow. So it is important to understand that it's not only about more image and videos, it's about transforming this entire workflow and being able to manage it. So the hope is that this is a means to an end for that frantic scrambling for images and videos. They also have features like generated for you, where they're going to take campaign ideas and brand profiles and streamline that brand identity and asset management. This is going to help ensure that consistency and making that entire campaign process less redundant and more focused on each campaign's unique goals. So that means more tailored creative, cleaner attribution, and then fewer emails asking about the origins of ads, because we'll have a central place where this lives. So I do feel like Google is clearly trying to give advertisers more control and precision, and then finally tackling that creative production bottleneck by addressing some of these cumbersome workflows. But that really begs that question, control, right? Control and representation, because when you think about all this AI, it naturally brings concerns about control and representation. Their image and video suite and these advancements, they're from VO, image transformation, and outpainting. They do offer those efficiencies that we just talked about in asset generation, but how are brands going to be able to essentially own their brand? Because brand identity is one of a company's most valuable assets, and business and brands rightfully, whether it's automated video creation or images, how do they make sure that these images reflect their ethos, design, language, and core positioning? And then also, how do you make sure that you don't have mismatched creative that strays from established brand guidelines and can frankly harm integrity and make brand managers and attorneys super duper upset? So when we think about that, what's really going to be the game changer is going to be these scenarios, like absolutely make sure that they embody the lifestyle image and remain consistent. And advertisers are going to be understandably skeptical about giving full control to the algorithm. So where Google is going to be answering that is the brand profiles in Merchant Center. They're going to allow retailers to curate and unify their brand appearance. And there is going to be human in the loop systems coming to that Asset Studio. So what Google is doing is they're giving us these mechanisms so we can have the oversight and control and ensure that these AI assets do adhere to branding rules that can be approved or rejected before they go live. So we will have that balance with automation and brand oversight to answer that question. So in terms of an industry, how is this kind of being handled? Well, we were watching closely. So one of my close friends, Julie Buccini, she's a consultant. She also runs PPC Chat. She, when I asked her, talked about AI being a double-edged sword, right? So on one hand, it's a major advancement for businesses, especially those with limited resources. They have greater flexibility, access to high-quality visuals. But she also brings up the question of, if we're all using the same workflow, could everything start to come to the middle and everything look the same? And also, will AI content be clearly labeled? Because as a society, if we can't discern what's real from what's generated, how does that help us as humans and consumers? I think that is a very, very valuable question and worry that she has that talks about almost that existential change that we're going through as a society with AI. And then Jeremy, he is a fellow board member, vice president of the Paid Search Association. He's another PPC expert. He offered a pragmatic assessment, and he basically says that these do show promise, but it's still in its infancy. And right now, it's an experiment versus something that's fully usable. And I would definitely agree with that. I think we are not even close to the tip of the iceberg. And then Harrison Hebb, who, again, another PPC consultant and independent who works for agencies and brands, he sees the benefit for smaller businesses and medium-sized advertisers. And I will say, Julie also pointed this out, is brands that are not at GML and that are in kind of Google's thought leadership and their content that Google puts out, these tools help them. Like very, very, very few brands have the ability to just create the scale that is needed for all of the creative we need across the entire Google, and let's add Facebook, TikTok, and all of the ecosystems that are very, very, very visual at this point. So to cut through the confusion, we will kind of need to understand where everything is being laid out. And, Google has a lot of these that are going to be in Merchant Center. Some are going to be in Google Ads coming soon. And Google is working to centralize these tools. So just kind of keep that in mind. I will put a link to the blog post so you can look through that. And then also with all of this, what is my opinion? And I would say my opinion is that, again, Google knows that this is critical. I think Google put out a statistic in one of their blog posts that said 83%, oh no, it was at GML, I'm sorry, 83% of people use Google or YouTube daily. And so we know that these tools are very widespread, and the integration of this AI creative is gonna be very pivotal. And so we do need this ability to scale without sacrificing quality. I think it's going to come to the point where to stay competitive, brands can leverage Google's AI technologies to gain an edge. Large brands who manage global campaigns can do this to reach that more localized community, and those niche audiences, and medium-sized businesses can maximize budgets effectively. I think SMBs and solopreneurs, because they are a little bit more fluid, this is going to help with cost savings for them as well. All that said, I do feel like, to echo what my other expert colleagues have said, this is just the beginning. I think this offers scalability, flexibility, but the future is going to have to see continued innovation. We don't want to be looking to see if there's four fingers in a hand all the time. I'm sure people will publish that when that type of error rolls out in ads. But really, I truly believe the future is going to be keyword to creative matching, where we truly, truly match users, almost like the keyword works with text ads to keywords working with images. I do feel like that's where the future is growing. So it'll be right time, right place with the right ad, and that will reflect creatively, I don't even know how to say that, sorry, in image and video versus just text ads. And I've also said it before, I think, we're to the point where if you look at Google, you have to look at it as a comprehensive marketing platform, and we are at a creative peak, but not nearly to the top at this point in time. And I do feel like the faster and better the creative gets, the more we are going to be in a place of truly that keyword to creative alignment. In any case, that is it for today. If you have any questions, concerns, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Super, super excited to be able to have this channel, to be able to talk to business owners directly and start to really, really get into the why and address these advancements head on and what they mean for your business. Thank you, as always, for watching.